Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the clouds. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain of life. Just listen to my story. You lost your best friend, shit's got you stressing. Wanna find a fool who didn't cock back your weapon. Don't wanna look to the church for confessions. If you kill him, you can end up in corrections. Some look for the needles and drugs for ejection. When I lost Caesar, I was ready for the action. This shit hurts hard, and it really did. But you gotta let the pain go, and that's how you live. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the clouds. Feel the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain of life. Just listen to my stories. Falling in love may be easy to some of y'all, but some people in this world have downfalls. Been in love so many times, their heart got lockjaw. Mention the word love, pause, then the tears start to crawl down their face fast like Niagara Falls. Feeling you had them messed up like prank calls. Why it gotta be so damn hard trying to find the right one? Set your standards high and get this like an N. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the clouds. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain of life. Just listen to my stories. Phone bill is due, rent and cars too. By the end of the month and you got no food. Mom at home first and dad can't go to work. That's only if you had a dad, imagine that hurt. 4 kids in one house, one mom and no spouse. Not enough room and family sleep on the couch. You don't know why and you looking for an answer. Just found out grandpa got cancer. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the clouds. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pains of life. Just listen to my stories. Just listen to my stories. Just listen to my story. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the clouds. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain in life. Just listen to my stories. Just listen to my stories.
Yo, 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 yo. Oh my gosh. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how we sound right now. All I know is that we are here, we are live, and we are ready to give y'all the best show that we can because Miss Talisa Hawkins, aka Queen, is in the building with your boy today. Welcome back, everybody, to Black Conscious Convo. I am your host, Chris Diggins, with our spectacular co-host, Queen, right next to me. Hey, Queen.
Hey, how y'all doing today? Hope everyone's having a good week. Happy hump day.
It is hump day. Like, this is something incredible today. Like, look, you on this side of town, hanging out, giving folks...
Twice in 1 week. We saw each other twice in 1 week.
Yes. Once while working and then just once while... This is incredible. So,
yes.
What's happening? What are you smoking today?
Today, actually, I actually know what I'm smoking, y'all, and I haven't because I was going to roll up on the show, and so I made sure to bring it with me. So, what I have is called East Coast Alien. Of course, it's a sativa. It is testing at 25%, and it is from Starbud. This is
Oh,
my
you went
first
to a
time actually
new
going.
company.
Yes, this is the first time I went there. I've smoked their bud before, but this is my first time shopping there. I will say that it wasn't the best experience going in. I don't know if it was because it was close to close and everybody was ready to go, but I wouldn't go back. I didn't like the
Based
experience.
on that experience. And see, that's the thing. This is why I believe in golden meds. Like when I speak with the owner, okay, and I say customer service wise, what are you expecting?
Right.
Once again, everybody feel welcome. There's only one time that I didn't feel welcome. It was this old man that decided to read my full name on my ID out loud. Like, let me tell you, I know girls don't have a problem with that full name bit. You know what I mean?
We do because
Well, I mean, you guys choose which name. You know what I mean? Like Rebecca, Becky.
well,
You
we
know what I
don't
mean?
like our full name being out there because people are crazy and they stalk you
No, no,
on
no. I'm just saying,
Instagram or
like,
Facebook and show up. So, like,
I'm
if
saying,
some
like,
man
first
read
name
my
wise.
ID, my whole name out loud in the lobby, I'd be pretty annoyed by that fact.
Yeah, when see, I'm saying like first name wise, like okay, the reason why we knew Jeffrey Dahmer was Jeffrey Dahmer because everybody knows when you go by Jeffrey, you're the messed up one.
You
Because
think
nobody has,
so?
for real. DJ Jazzy Jeff is not the problem. You know what I mean?
Oh, Jeff,
Jeff,
just Jeff isn't the problem.
right? Jeff isn't the problem. You mean Jeff? Nah, Jeff wouldn't have done any of that shit. But you say, you know, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Then you start to cut.
Yeah,
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey was different. I mean, unless you're from the UK, honestly,
That's true.
Jeffrey doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like, not to put it like that, not to put Jeffrey on the spot like that.
Sorry, Jeffrey.
However, I'm just letting you know. I'm going to roll up some sativa
Ooh.
from Go to Meds. The company is called Snacksland. The what I am rolling is called soap.
It's called soap?
The soap.
The soap.
Yes. I guess because of the way that it makes your mouth feel fresh and clean
Ooh.
after you hit it. It's a very incredible smoke. I'm gonna say that. Like you're my I have an Apple Watch. I am an Apple fan. Um Shout out Apple. And the first time I got it, my Apple Watch said, "What is going on with your blood pressure?" What's it was saying your 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 blood pressure spiked, or should I say, your pulse went from 100 to it was in between 198 to it went to 147.
Dang.
So it was like, what is going on? What are you doing to get this going up? And I put in the notes, smoking sativa marijuana. So that information is being shared with Apple because I'm part of a study. I don't mind being part of a study.
Look at that. When you give Americans the option to allow you to spy on them or not, some people will actually volunteer to do it.
Because
Shocking.
I want to give valid information. Like, do you know how many
It
people
smells
that have
really good, like really sweet. It almost reminds me of like sweet tarts or runts or something like that.
look at it.
Yes, and it's super fuzzy.
It's beautiful. It is $52 after taxes.
And it doesn't have
Yes,
a strong like
that is what
marijuana-y
you are used to paying when you go
smell.
to the weed man, anyways, for the best weed, right?
Right. And I mean out here it's still
Fifty
cheaper
dollars,
than anywhere else.
$50 an eighth is $50 an eighth,
Hmm.
and if anybody's charging you more for an eighth than $50, then you're going to the wrong store. Because just in general, there's too much money to be made off of marijuana.
Well, I agree with that. And my sister, man, I told you my sister came here from DC. And when I took her to the dispensary, she couldn't believe how much she could buy um, for the amount of money she was spending. Because back home in DC and other places where weed is not legal, street dealers are taxing. They're coming to Colorado, they're buying, high quality, top shelf brands and coming back to their local areas and charging double, triple sometimes.
And I totally understand that. Like, um, the price is what it is. Like, it it used to be what it was, and then it became what it is.
Yeah.
And
And now with
I
these,
don't understand. Excuse me, that
Mhm.
was very horrible. I don't see what the big problem is when it comes to marijuana in general. Do you?
I mean, there isn't a problem with it. We just know that the government likes to weaponize it for its own political and social agendas. We know that marijuana became illegal or was frowned upon in an effort to criminalize the hippies and the peace movement and the power movement and to criminalize black people in the black power movement.
Do you
So
really remember hippies?
I mean, they
Like
were before my time.
I
I'm a
know that,
'90s baby.
but no, like a lot of people don't. A lot of people do not grasp that hippies were our allies.
They were.
Seriously, like we black people knew that you could always depend on a white hippie.
This is true. And the government knew this. Is funny because I had the same conversation with my brother yesterday. He didn't understand like why people were saying that Bob Marley was assassinated. He didn't understand like why would they assassinate him, and I had to explain. I was like, it's because you had large groups of hippie white folks, large groups of black people coming together, having a great time, talking about love and peace and power, and they were afraid
And
of what that was
of
going to create, this unity.
if he made the statement of move this way, because power was so hard to maintain with the government
Hmm.
before we actually knew what the government was doing, right? It was so hard to maintain that power because you didn't know who was doing what around the country, so you needed spies everywhere.
Which is why they always had us Uncle Tom ass Negroes
Man,
running back and telling the white man what we was up to.
not even just that. That's the Uncle Tom has always been the guy that controlled the slaves. The nigga over the niggas that wasn't even a good nigga. Because that nigga was the house nigga. You know what I mean? And he did everything in his power to maintain his house nigga position. Like, if there was another nigga that seemed to get masses attention and make
Massa, what
Massa
that nigga doing on that
make Massa impressed, right? Massa go, oh, that's a smart nigga.
net?
That boy go that house
He
nigga
ain't that
go
smart, Massa.
and set that nigga up. You know,
Yes. What that
it's
damn nigga doing on that net?
yeah, you know what I mean? And it's crazy how folks don't think about house niggas being so intertwined in today's society. Like I said, I'm trying to get a show together for my live podcast. I mean my live show on Facebook and YouTube
Mm.
for an episode talking about the house nigga and how they helped destroy communities.
Community, really
Just
unity,
honestly, just
unity.
period.
They destroy unity. They sow seeds of
But
doubt because now we can't trust
but the
each other.
hippie is the white hippie was so powerful. That's the thing that got me. And to not see white hippies now is really frightening because you see white angry. But white hippies were our allies in the 60s and 70s.
Mm-hmm.
They that love, not war. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
But a lot of
they
those people
believed.
changed, and a lot of them, unfortunately, and it hurts me to even say, some of them grew up to be their damn parents, their
Not even that they became
grandparents,
their
or
parents.
they raised their children to
Something.
not be like that. Like, oh,
Well,
that was
think about it.
bad, and
You have it's just like with the black community with running out of the black community once you've made it
mm-hmm.
to a community where you supposedly feel safe. And at the same time, you're not safe still.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's perception. It's like you got people running around here saying, I am not going to teach my kids to not be free. Like, okay, in Colorado, right? The way that we as black people and brown people have been allowed to live in Colorado,
Mm-hmm.
we have been free.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? This has been something that we have had since around middle 80s going into the 90s though. It was all like 80s and 90s. This was nigga heaven. You know what I mean? Black and Hispanic.
My dad came here and stayed.
Black and Hispanic.
He got here like 87
or
no, he got here like maybe 95 or something.
But once again, and that was during a time frame where you could get a job anywhere. When you said you was gonna get a job with something, you was gonna get a job. I'm gonna get a job as a police officer. I'm gonna get a job with the city county of Denver. I'm gonna get a job with the city county of Aurora. I'm gonna get a job with and all of those opportunities in Colorado were available to all colors. Like I tell people all the time, when I grew up gangbanging and selling dope, I could get a job. It wasn't like there wasn't no job out there, but we was greedy. We wasn't being taught, oh, patience is a virtue. Save up your money while working at McDonald's. I worked at McDonald's, the one on Peoria, right there in front of Montbello. Yes, I worked at that McDonald's. Do you know what I did? The drive-through and the front, and I always hooked niggas up. Like Juan, the owner, used to be like, "Did you just hook them up?" I'd be like, "Nah, man, I ain't hooked them up."
The fact that you said the owner was Juan.
Juan.
It just shows the whole difference from then and now.
Yeah, Juan was a Spanish. He was a Spanish dude from his family was Spanish from Europe. You know
he was a Spaniard.
Spaniard.
Okay.
Yeah, I learned, do not call any community of Latin out of their name. Like,
I mean, well, you got the colonizers and the colonized.
Yeah, that's the and yeah.
People don't want to be like, don't confuse me with them over there.
Right, and I thought like School Days.
The movie?
Spike Lee's School Days. You showed a narrative of light skin, dark skin fighting each other. Because you're nothing but a jigaboo trying to find something to do. Because you're nothing but a
fast forward to that part and get just to the end.
Good or bad hair, see if I care. Good or bad hair. Yep. And that was something that the South had going on that we didn't know was going on. Once again, in Denver.
I highly doubt that.
In Denver, we didn't have that issue. Dark skin, light skin, we was kicking it.
I mean, you talk to some dark skinned girls growing up here, and I'm sure their perspective on that will be very, very different.
Dark skinned girls was loved by light skinned niggas.
All right.
Out here, look at how many light skinned niggas is with dark skinned girls out
I
here.
barely see black men with any black women.
I mean, but you live on a whole other side of town too.
When I lived here too.
When did you live on this side of town?
I went to high school on this side of
Oh
town.
my gosh!
I went to high school
moved here.
in Hinkley. I went to high school in
how long
Hinkley.
have you been here?
I got here in 2005 when I was a freshman in high school.
See, we didn't even get to discussing all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went to school and I lived off of Chambers and 6 right there in some apartments right over there. I used to walk to school.
6 in Chambers. Okay, so then you know my cousin Devin?
Maybe.
He's a sheriff now.
Oh, I haven't had any encounters with police.
No. He went to Hinkley.
Oh, wait. I might know Devin then. Yes. Really big,
Football.
tall. Yes, I do know Devin.
Yeah.
I know him very, very well. Just had a baby a while back. Yes, I do.
Cousin.
I do. I sure do. Me and him
Yeah.
were very close in high school. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
See,
know
that's
him.
what I'm
and
saying.
his whole little crew. I know everybody he used to hang out with in high
People
school.
don't think Colorado is. I tell people Colorado small, and I didn't have to even bring up a last name. You see how you figured that one out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You went to Hinkley, named Devin, was a police officer. Like, yeah, like the only I know of Devin, he's a police officer and he's black. Yeah, I'm like, yep, I do.
Once again,
and a couple of them from that high school are actually police officers now.
And people don't grasp that Colorado is like that. Like when you move here, you're looking for your life to be not microscope, but you're trying to build a tribe.
Right.
You're trying to build something better.
Right.
And if you're moving here from like places from like I say, as a Coloradian born and bred, when Californians move here, they must be broke, is what I have in my mind.
Because California is mad expensive, ain't it?
Right. And there is no way I am going to stop being a motherfucking boss if I have made it in California. It's just like the statement, New York, New York. It don't say if you're not in the state of New York that you didn't make it. You in the state of New York. Anywhere in New York. Okay? New York City to the state of New York.
True story.
You make it there, you making it.
Even if you're from Buffalo.
Period. Right? My son's there right now.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't think people get is, in general, if you're moving to Colorado, you're looking to slow shit down. You're not looking to speed shit up.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking for because I keep talking and letting that motherfucker go out. You're looking for peace of mind.
Yeah, for sure. To slow down. I mean, my mom, when she moved here,
It's like this place boring.
she ran into all her old gang affiliates. I don't talk about it much, but
ain't no old gang affiliates. They're
my
just
mom,
gang members.
same difference. But when I was growing up, my mom was from California, and so she spent most of her childhood in Oceanside. So my mom is West Side Crip, rolling 30s, right? A block or two away from Tookie Williams' old crew is where my mama is from. And so growing up there, I'm sure. Yeah. My mom fled there because shit got hot. So she left and all of her members left. They all spread out over the country. So it was so crazy that when we moved to Colorado, boom, there was one. Boom, there was one. Boom, there was one. She's like, dang, everybody moved to California when stuff got hot. Like, everybody moved from California to Colorado, and got businesses, have own homes, got grandkids and stuff. Like, dang.
I mean,
because that's just how, I don't think there's anywhere else you could have ran to where things would have been that low but Colorado.
But just to be able to have that, though, you know what I mean? to be able to. One of the things that I'm grateful and thankful for is the ability to be able to leave selling dope
Yeah. And have it
without
leave.
without without having an addiction to my product, without without the injuries that come through with it, without having to go to prison.
Yeah.
I mean, a nigga who went to county,
Mm.
that was about it though. You know what I mean?
I heard that in some ways counties can be worse than Fed.
Depending on what state you're in, not in Colorado.
Oh yeah, no.
Once
I'm
again,
sure not in
once
Colorado.
again,
That's
not
true.
in Colorado unless you running your mouth for real.
Yeah.
Unless you're running your mouth, yes, you know white boys is gonna act up on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're gonna say things to you to make you act up on them when they in jail. But nigga, I'm in jail. Why am I gonna act up on you and I'm in jail? And they give you a reason to beat me while I'm in jail.
Right. For give me a reason to be in here longer than what I gotta be. Absolutely not. Absolutely
You know what I
not.
mean? I'm not falling prey to y'all. Like y'all already good enough for having too many of us, cause because like my generation had a lot of fucking warriors. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like just out of Montbello alone, 95, 96, 97, them classes, warriors. You know what I mean? People don't even grasp like the individuals that came out of those the murders that people had experienced. You know what I mean? Just at first hand. The drug dealing, the fighting, like we grew up fighting. That's all a lot of us did in Montbello was like when we got mad, we was like, who we fighting today? And that's what we did. We fought.
I think that's all. Unfortunately, like that's all black neighborhoods. I was
But
just
we
saying that
lived
it
to
was like
see
a
another
rite of
day, not like
passage.
we didn't fight to kill. You know what I mean? And when we seen that happen, like that was vicious.
Yeah, I was just thinking from like when we were kids and shit. Like I remember because I moved around a lot, y'all. I lived in a lot of different hoods, and when you don't belong to no hood because you move a lot, you ain't really got no type of protection at all. So moving around when you got to a new neighborhood, it was like a rite of passage to be in that neighborhood to get in a fight there. Like
Right.
you couldn't
A majority of
just
for us,
exist in that neighborhood without somebody constantly pecking and trying to see if they could get a fight out of you.
for a majority of us, that is how we made friends. A majority of the people that you fought ended up being your friends.
Not I.
I'm
But my black ass is a nerd, so I was in the house a lot. I was in the house. I used to have boys waiting outside my door, waiting for me to check the mail or go to the trash can or
I
something.
wouldn't doubt
Because
it.
my
Like,
butt would be in the house watching Dragon Ball Z. Being a nerd.
look, when did you being
And
a
I
nerd?
had siblings, so I had to cook dinner, bath
When did you get into the whole little being a witch though?
I didn't start getting into that until I was about 25, 26.
Not to say that we wasn't supposed to be in this conversation already.
But
However, that is today's conversation, part 2 of Love and Magic. And you, young lady, are what type of witch are you?
I consider myself to be a modern witch, meaning that I don't subscribe to any one type of witchcraft. I pull from all of them for what works for me and my beliefs. Ultimately, I worship the ancestors. I think your ancestors are the conduit to connect with the higher source or the higher being. Where Christian will use the Bible, church, Jesus, I use my ancestors
Not that
to
Christians
take
use
that
the
place.
church Bible, Jesus.
Well, the church is like their place of worship.
Individuals,
The Bible is a study, and Jesus is that connection to God.
right?
Here, I have our ancestors. We have our historical altar, and instead
Yeah,
of
because
having
I
like
stopped
some
going
type
to
of
church
a book or
because
something,
I don't, when me myself, not to interrupt you, I stopped going to church because I stopped seeing the light in pastors.
mm, okay, I got that. And I stopped going to church because, well, so I stopped going to church when I was about 15, and that was just because I came out here and my dad was not very religious. Like, my dad's a New Yorker. Like, New York is not a hyper religious city. Like, where
Right.
I'm from in
The
the
cops
South,
was the only ones that was going to church because
yeah, in the
they was the
South,
Catholics.
there's a church on every block. Like, there's a church on every single block because that's just the South is hyper religious. A lot of the laws and shit are religious. So my dad just doesn't come from that
That's all
background.
just we've ever had.
Yeah,
They stripped everything. You
yeah,
know what I mean? So
pretty much.
those of us that are knowing like you of what nature and honesty of magic
Hmm.
is rare. You know what I mean?
There's a lot more of them out there, but the thing is, they're all underground now because of the history of attacking them, breaking them up, killing them, jailing them. There's a law. I can't remember what it's called, people, and I apologize because I didn't even know this conversation was going to go this way, but I got to bring it up. There is a law that is like you can't have more than like 10 people in a space. Like if you have more than 10 people somewhere, you need to have like some type of permit, some type of permission to get together and like congregate. Now
Yes,
we know that
because
those are laws that they put in place
well,
to prevent black
10 and
people.
11 are power numbers.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. I was just thinking about the law, the fact they put it in place to prevent black people from getting together and unionizing. But that was also how they used to break up black witches. They would use that law as a way to break up the covens, stop any of
Even
their meetings.
even in the Bible, like I think 11 is the number of God, the number God, the number of God or heaven or something like that. Like it within itself is supposed to be a divinity number. So, you know what I mean? For 11 and 12 people to get together, 10, 11, 12 people to get together and believe in something at the same time is a powerful thing. So I understand their thinking there.
Yeah, but really,
But it's
ultimately,
scary though.
it's just used as a tactic to break up anytime black people get together.
Well,
Whether it be for us to get together for strategizing for, civil rights stuff, or if it's us getting together just to be together. They used to just break up our barbecues, our family get togethers.
once
They
again,
show up at our churches just to see, like, just to harass us at the churches. So all of our ancestors who practiced this, they had to go underground because they were consistently being harassed. They were consistently having their homes broken
made to be
into, and
evil.
they were consistently, being flogged or just going through some hardship. So a lot of them went underground. There's a book I have in the car right now. It's called Jambalaya. It's the voodoo and
Look, you're reading a
spiritual
book and
practice.
not listening to it?
No, because this is since it's more spiritual based.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to touch the pages, and I need to be able. I wanted to go back and reference. It has a whole bunch of spells. It's a spell and charm book, so I wanted to be able to go back to reference the spells whenever I wanted to and highlight and make notes and stuff like that. So, but it's written by a black woman from New Orleans, and she tells the story of how her family lost their spiritual side because of the constant harassment from police. Um, she said like her mother was hung for it, and so her grandmother was. So her mother, anytime she did anything that like looked like it could be witchcraft, she would get cussed out. You know, stop that, don't do that. You need to pray, you need to ask God for forgiveness, really shamed it out of her, made sure they went to every church service there was possible. And this was just an effort to, protect your child. But at the same time, we were losing a lot of our culture, a lot of our heritage, a lot of our traditions were being lost at that same time.
And see, that's the thing right there. All of these things that get lost because of it being made to be evil. And that's the basic excuse me. That's the down and dirty part of it. It's these are all things that we know of nature. There's a reason that people watch Marvel movies and DC movies and all of these movies about magic and hope and wizards and dragons and all of these things. And it's not just because it's a fascination, it's because there's something in there that allows us to believe, right?
Right.
And we know this. Yet, people love to say, well, back in the real world, and this is how they diffuse. This is how they diffuse. Well, we know in reality. Well, that's just it. Those are the known senses.
Mm.
Like I said, for me, I look at people like there were people that I knew I couldn't be around growing up
Mm.
because their light would just destroy me.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like everything that was evil in me, like I said, for me, the seven deadly rule. Pride gave me my power, which anger, along with being the dope man and being a gang member, you just had, those were all the fuel mixings for what evil needed. Do you know what I mean? Or not even that it was evil, that destruction needed. Because those are the two things that we can do. We can build or we can destroy. Right? Those are the ultimate things that we can do.
Mm-hmm.
We can build or destroy. We can create or not create.
Right.
And those were just the perfect concoctions for the beast. And magically, like I said, there's just some people's light that is just, you can see that motherfucker for a mile away. Like, it is so crazy sometimes. And it's not like there are a lot of these motherfuckers, like people like to say.
Mm-hmm.
But growing up in high school, I will say this. There are a lot of youth that have that light ability, but they just keep it at children beaking you know what I mean, like level, because it's only a child.
Right.
They're not knowing of this light. They're not knowing of the world.
Right.
So their light isn't flickering or fluttering or going in colors, like it's just all there. And
Mm-hmm.
but do witches do all of that? Like see those colors and
It depends. Like, it's not like it's a one type thing, right? So I'm empathic, so I can feel people's feelings. And with that, a color will appear in my mind's eye whenever I think of them. But for someone else, they may actually see it as clear as day, see the variations in the color. And this has been tested, and it's, I don't remember the article, but I feel like it's been tested and proven. So, y'all, find out
right.
for us.
Well,
But,
yeah.
but
Somebody will.
I feel like it was a European study, and I can't recall, maybe it was in France, but they did it where they tested a woman and she could see the changes in their aura. She called every color. So it's, left up to interpretation, but some people can see it as clear as day. Some other people feel it I see it in my mind's eye. And then some people can't feel it at all. I think it's a skill that can be developed, but you have to be willing to open yourself up to it, and you have to be in tune with your feminine energy. And a lot of people shut themselves off from that.
And see, that's what I'm saying. I've been trying to figure out what this feminine energy is like. As a gay black man, I be trying to figure it out. And folks be like, "Yeah, but you don't carry yourself," and I don't understand it. Like, I don't. There's nothing about me that says, "Yeah, let me be." Like, I even think about certain, like, even when I'm here by myself, which is a majority of the time, and they be like, "You don't dance like no." Nope.
So that's because people's understanding of femininity is very superficial because it's based off of a patriarchal idea of what womanliness looks like. It's not the actual manifestation of femininity. Femininity is the creation force, it's the life force, it's sensuality, it's anything that is connected to having a child is really the feminine energy, sensuality, the energy that it takes to create the life. That's, a life force that is exuding. The emotional internal connection that you have to yourself and the child at that time, which is manifested in real life when that child is born, and there is an
Yeah.
unconditional love and bond there, and that represents the love of humanity and of everyone else. So in a world where we diminish femininity, it disconnects us from each other.
And see, I totally understand that right there because you have so many people that do that do disrespect the fact of the womb. You know what I mean? They make the horrible jokes.
Hmm.
And they don't know that that's what that means is that they're just, what is that word, misogynist?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I don't understand is when they make the conversation about the womb. Um, what's funny is how I told you about uh, Flame Monroe.
Hmm.
Yeah, she was like, they was like, you gonna get the surgery? You gonna get the surgery? She was like, no, not until I can get the pick a pussy, get the pick a pussy surgery. She's like, what you mean? Everybody at the Breakfast Club was like, what you mean pick a pussy? Like she said, I want to be able to go in and pick a pussy. If I want, if I want one, I want to be able to pick a pussy. And if I can pick a pussy, I want Kim. I want what's her name, Kardashian. No, not Kardashian. I can't remember who she said pussy, but
Hmm.
she said I want that pussy. She said that's what I want.
Good show.
Look, show show going off
My
and
creepy
everything.
ringtone. Sorry,
Um,
I'm a weirdo.
nah, you ain't no weirdo. Once
I
again,
am. I love being it. I am a total weirdo. I'm into weird shit. I bask in it. I bask in it. I'm an Aquarius. Look that shit up. Like
oh
literally,
yeah, I
it is
okay.
very
You
much
right
my
there. Look,
sign.
what? When's your birthday?
February 11th.
Wow. Okay. My son is February 3rd.
Oh, what? My
My
son is
brother
February 10th
is
too.
February the 9th. Yeah. I know a couple of y'all, not women form, but men form, so emotional. So emotional.
Very much so, because we are empaths. Like we feel
Is that
emotions,
what that, but cuz
and we are humanitarians. We care a
I was
fucking
I
lot, and
was
we pretend like we don't.
I was I was told that I was having sex with somebody else. Hello, who is this? I don't know who this is, but welcome to the show. Um, where was we at?
You said you were you were told you were having sex with someone else.
Oh yeah, I was accused of having the sex with someone else by an Aquarius because I wouldn't go. Like I told you, I you're not gonna get me. That just doesn't work for me. Once again, so um, you're not gonna get me to. You're not gonna get me to cross that line, right? We already know this, and I was accused by this Aquarius of doing this with someone else because I wasn't doing this with them, and that's what they was used to. And I said, so because of what you were used to, I'm supposed to be used to it too. And they're like, well, that's the whole point in us being there. I'm sitting there like, no, I apologize. I said, what else can I do but that? I said, there's nothing that I can do to show you that I love you. Right? I was really trying. Like this shit it was deep. But like I said,
Ultimately, look, we gotta be honest, and we gotta be compatible all the way. So it just sounds like y'all wasn't really compatible. That sucks,
I,
but
there are so
that
many
is what it
people that
sounds
go,
like.
but and that's the problem. I think that's my issue is that there are so many guys. There are so many guys that find me fascinating that that's the one thing that they're expecting, and I'm not. And I don't think they know that. Think about the level you have to come out of that and enjoy the person that you with for not doing that.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? For a guy, for a female,
I mean, it's
I
the
can't
same
speak
because I'm sitting here thinking about the experience of girls who decide to make that vow. You know, that one that Christians make, and how hard it is for them dating. Like, ultimately, guys either leave or accuse them of cheating. Like, trying to do different type of manipulative tactics
to get
to
them to break their
try
virginity,
to
right?
get them to give in. Like, oh, you must be doing it with somebody else, or getting angry at them,
I've
telling you that
never looked at
they
it
don't
like that.
love
Holy
you.
shit!
That yeah, that's what it is ultimately. Like, and it's because patriarchy has conditioned men to believe that they're entitled to it, and if you don't give it to them, it's okay for them to use all these other types of manipulative tactics to get you into saying yes. So
And that is
you're
so
cheating.
crazy.
You don't really love me. Like, these are the things that men do to try to get you to give in to their pressure of allowing
And
you to do that.
that's what they do to women. And see, this is how bad I did not know men or males in the gay community because once again, I'm thinking that a majority of these people don't have a story of they were curious one time and now this is what they like. The majority is somebody turned them out. And I'm sitting there like, what does it mean? What you mean somebody turned you out?
Yeah.
And that's
And that may be a generational thing, which is why maybe you need to look in the 30s. Because I have some friends in high school, like, I've had gay friends forever. So I had some friends in high school who told me their story, and it was very beautiful, very romantic, very like they were dating in high school. They went to prom together, they did it together, they
they
were in
told you
love.
about that experience.
No, that was it. Like, as according to them, that
According
is
to once
their
again,
whole
and
thing.
see,
And so we
once
can't
again,
assume that something else happened
no,
to them.
and
But
that's
according
this.
to their
Here's
words, this is
yeah.
this is how that
Here's
happened
my
for them.
issue with that. Once again, when they get down to the brass taxes of it, Okay, this is where and this is why I wish there were more therapists that could actually speak on the subject.
Well, I have that one. I'm sorry. I need to call her. I will call her tomorrow. You guys have
Not
my word
not not
because that's what she
not on the
is.
sex subject. I'm saying on the mentality subject.
Well, she is a therapist in general. She
Okay.
just specializes in this one area.
Oh, okay.
And
But
the
in general, like
conversation
a
around
lot
those
of
areas and the mental work that needs to happen around those
as
areas.
as we have discussed, there are a lot of black traumas
Hmm.
from black men missing
Oh.
their or from black males and their dads, black males and their mothers, to rape in their families
Hmm.
and
And in
and
their communities, the people who knew about people out there, pastors, police officers, gym coaches, etc.,
this is
etc.
going to be our next conversation. I'm not even going to lie to you. I have really been thinking about this for a whole week. How is it that we have black men who have sisters, who have aunts and uncles, and all of these people? How do black women in our lives end up in the situation that you have stated? You know what I mean?
Mm.
And that honestly hurt me and scared me when we had that conversation. I don't want you to think that I avoided when you told me about that situation. That you know what I mean? Um, that I just you know what I mean? Just kept moving on. I just once again I feel energy,
Hmm.
and that when you spoke on when you had to chime in on that information, I felt the energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when things like that strike my soul, I do back away because I know what that does. I don't know how comfortable you are speaking on your situation.
I'm always comfortable about it because at this point in my life, it is just a story for me. And you know what? When you get over one thing, you end up dealing with something else. So it's been a string of events. Like once I was like, okay, that happened to me. I'm okay. I'm complete. Then it was like, oh yeah,
we're
did
gonna
this
we're gonna
happen?
we're going to and I believe that. And we're going to keep talking about that on the next show once again. But right now we're still talking about love magic. All right.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to love magic though,
Hmm.
are there really love magic spells? Or are there bring what the universe believes you should have spells to you?
No, there's actual love magic. There's actual spells. There's rituals around sex. There's this is obvious because there's been sex magic for years. There's definitely like fertility sex when a couple is intentionally trying to get pregnant, they'll bring in, certain incense or certain herbs into the room. Maybe they'll bathe each other in essential oils, which all represents a spiritual aspect that we just never actually acknowledge. We just do it like this is, it's sexy, of course, but before we used to do this with purpose and with intentionality. And so there's a whole book of, different spells from different cultures that have different types of sex magic. I'm very curious about it, let me tell you. But I need to lock down like a real committed partner for this. So
Are you
I'm taking applications.
at the same time though, are you a real committed partner for sex magic?
For
I mean,
sex
because
magic, the commitment
I
is
was
different. Like
I was
being committed to the task of the sex magic and
right, but
actually
I was
showing up hard and ready to like bring me the full orgasm. That's what I mean by
no, 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 no,
showing up
no.
committed to the sex
I
magic. I'm fully
from
committed
what
to
I have learned,
receiving.
right? From what I have learned, you two have to have a connection to make the spell even bigger.
That's true. That's true. But fortunately for me, the way my life is set up and the woman I am, connections, deep and intimate ones, are not ones that are hard to come by for me. Um, this is why I typically operate in an open relationship because I'll meet someone and then before we know it, you're just, deep in and then they never leave. So I like men always are like women always got some guy around it. Yeah, yeah, quite literally. Quite literally.
But at the same
Quite
time, though,
literally.
how much of that has allowed you to get to your level of success before you need before you felt you needed one of those in your lives? Like, what goals did you accomplish for your, like, for me myself, I know right now I'm not going to bring somebody into my life, and I know I am conquering goal after goal after goal right now for myself.
Mhm.
Not for anybody else, for myself.
Mm. Well, see, I have a more open relationship dynamic, and so my relationships show up the way that I like structure them to be. So I don't like to be in monogamous situations because there's way more commitment placed on that. I have to show up a lot more and when I'm in those situations. So I will probably not be in like a monogamous situation.
Okay, so what if there is a guy who just feels comfortable being monogamous, and that guy is like everything you fit you honestly deserve from a man. You won't be monogamous for one man.
Is he
You
going to
won't
marry me?
you won't
If he feels that
sacrifice.
deeply for me, then
That's what I'm
I
saying.
expect the ring. If we're
If there
married, that's
was
a conversation. But if I'm not
I'm
married,
saying
I'm single.
someone who wants to take the time. Okay,
If I'm not married, I'm single.
but it takes time to get to know
We can
someone.
still do that. We can still do that. We can still take the time. We can still date. You can still come over. We can still hang
But
out. We can
watch
still
for a
take on
guy, I'm gonna
trips.
tell you now, for a guy to watch somebody that you're really interested in give themselves to other people,
Then you
it
better
is
marry me.
it is
that is
honestly
that is what
that
your
is
options
bothering.
are.
I have seen that crush guys' souls.
That's their prerogative, yeah. Your soul being crushed
Wow.
is your responsibility. My life is not tailored to making sure
Not
that
that
your
not
feelings are a-okay. I'm out here trying to make sure that I have a relationship that is loving and fulfilling and that is going to give me what I want. And so I want to
so
make sure that I'm not cutting myself off. I'm not a man. I don't have years. I don't have years. I'm 30. If I want to have a baby, I need one in the next 5 to 6 years. Otherwise, it may get really challenging. No women in my family have gotten pregnant in their 30s ever. All the women in my family had hysterectomies by now. So I have no idea what my probability for children are even at. So I don't have time to be locked
you're
down
breaking a generational
into one guy
loop
who's
though,
not
right?
really sure if he wants to or maybe he needs time. We can still date while you're figuring it out. I'm still open and I'm still gonna show up fully in the date. I'm still gonna show up. Like it's not like I'm a half-ass it. I'm still gonna show up. You're gonna know who I am. But I'm not gonna limit my options unless I know you're sure about making that type of commitment with me and taking that next step.
Okay.
So,
And I totally understand. I'm just like I said, I was just throwing that one out there. Like for me, somebody said, "What is there one guy that you'd make that sacrifice?" That is the sacrifice for me.
mm,
I will give you all of me, but that one thing, and I will not ask that one thing of you, because I am not asking you to commit to what I see as a form of representation of straight people having sex.
hmm
That's what that is for me.
I got it.
No matter how people try to loop it, I worked in healthcare for years. So my mind works medically along with lifestyle choices, right?
Mm.
And I have seen lifestyle choices skew and sway people's minds, as you have even just told me. Guys do things to trick females into giving up the cookies for the first time. I am not giving up my cookies to nobody.
But you may experience that a lot from men because that's how they've been conditioned
Right.
to deal with
And
sex.
that's
No one's ever really had that conversation to say that a relationship goes beyond just your sexual access to this person. And that's
or
what
to
I'm
that
saying.
one point of body.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. Like I'm not like just
that one access, just because somebody accesses that one part of your body does not make life all everything. Like, I don't understand why people would want to put themselves in, or should. Yeah, that's what it is. It's a want. It's not a need. Do you separate your wants from your needs? Because you stated that. It's not what I want.
so yes. But not really nowadays because look, as a black woman, we've always only had to focus on what we need. Like we've only ever like focused on, and most of the time not our own needs, like everyone else's needs. So I'm trying to like focus on the things that I want and live a life that I dream, so that my ancestors can see me living a life that they never seen before. Watch me shine, Grandma.
But
Watch
at
me
the same
shine.
time, though, ain't you supposed to Jill Scott? Living my life like it's golden. Living my
That's
life
what that
like it's
is.
golden. Living
Going
my
after
life
my
it's
wants.
golden.
Going after my wants and not feeling obligated to go after anything else.
I'm taking my freedom. Okay, got you. Living on my. Okay, got you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yo, yeah.
Yeah, Jill Scott, by the way, shout out Jill Scott. Yes, you did that song and you have sang
That's like my anthem,
soul
you know?
to you for real. When my soul has cried, I will say this. Mary J. Blige.
I can't even listen to her because there's so many painful memories
Mary J.
attached to her
Blige,
music.
Janet Jackson, Aaliyah,
Her being in the news lately has just been breaking my
Erica
heart.
Erica Badu.
Yes, queen.
We're not even gonna talk about some of the ladies that have just made my soul just cry. Even with the guys out there, you know what I mean? You got Bobby Valentino, Joe.
I loved Bobby Valentino. I'm sad that his career went the way it did. Because that first
Hamilton.
album was fire.
Well, once again, when you don't reinvest a majority of your money back into you.
Yeah.
Because people don't tell you how much of a product you are. And that's the thing. I'm not trying to invest in I'm not trying to reinvest in myself personally. I believe in the brand that we are creating. What about you?
I do too. And each week that goes by, you guys, let me tell you, I love y'all. So I'm here because I don't be consistent with nothing in my life. I'm working on being consistent, but again, I tell y'all, read up on my sign and you will see I'm very much like an Aquarius because we have a hard time with sticking to schedules. Very, go with the flow.
And I am
Go
grateful
where the
for that.
wind
No,
blows.
like I said, I know a lot of words. One of, like I said, and that also is the same guy who also unfortunately is positive, and it's sad that
Yeah.
there are guys that have reached that level with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I am I am such like I was such a fan of theirs. Like they really didn't, and it's also what broke me. Like because they that insanity from that one thing, like
Mm.
it drove people. It really does drive males crazy, and when you put that in perspective, that put our next show in perspective.
Mm.
Rape is something that should not be even a conversation in our communities anymore.
But it
Neither should
still very much so
child
is.
molestation.
Y'all, we gotta do better.
For real, like this doesn't make any sense. On that note, when it comes to love and magic, how could you end this out for your side?
Well, for me, I just want to say, like, I know some things sound new and sometimes it can sound a little scary, but, some of these things, they're all about how you use them. And, just be a little open minded.
And for me, when it comes to love and magic, I am going to say people pay attention to the seven deadly. Those are forms of magic. They are polar opposite magics of energy. Okay? The opposite of pride is humility. The opposite of love is lust. The opposite of something is not what you want to become. You want to be somewhere in the middle. Being balanced is a whole lot better than not being polar. Don't polarize yourself. For real. Don't polarize yourself, people. That's my thing. You know what I mean? Because good people make bad mistakes, bad people make good moves.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know how to say it because it's kind of a mistake, right? When you do something good, it's just you do something good. But when you do something bad, it's oh, I made a mistake. Okay. Um, with that, how can you be found,
Well, you
Queen?
guys know that you can find me here every Wednesday and Sunday. So come listen again. We hope to hear from you soon.
At 5.
And you can find me on my Instagram at the Mortgage Queen. Yes, that's the Mortgage Queen. And you can find me on YouTube at Talk with Talisa and Facebook just Talisa F. Hawkins. Please say that, baby.
No, how dare you? And you can find me or the show. You can find the show at BCCCO on uh, Instagram and Facebook. We're not on Twitter yet, but we're going to be there within the next 2 weeks. Only because I don't really believe in Twitter bling bling. Look at you.
I don't really like Twitter all that much. I keep trying it, but
Twitter is so cracker.
it just never hooks me. So
Twitter is so cracker. I'm not even gonna lie. It's
But Black Twitter be funny. I ain't gonna lie. The memes be doing about a Black
for
Twitter.
real. I don't because once again, it's us.
Yeah,
Somewhere in there, it's us.
Being funny as
Yes.
usual.
But beyond that, Twitter itself is just so cracker. And the way that they hold shit down on black people, you know what I mean? Like the way we not allowed to say nigga, like you need to get over that shit, nigga.
Right? Like who are y'all? YouTube too. Shit.
YouTube wants us to stop stealing other people's shit.
I don't like how YouTube be treating the news. how they be canceling all the small news channels and promoting CNN and Fox and all them bullshit ass news
because
channels.
Google can be bought.
Of course.
If you give them enough money, they will promote
Of course.
another show over your show.
And they in the big network with the fuck. They're in cahoots with the damn networks because now they selling cable and shit with YouTube TV. So
well, I mean,
it's all $70. I was like, who's paying $70?
Me.
You
That's what I'm saying.
You need to share your password so I can watch Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. I was like, I ain't paying $70 for VH1. No, YouTube. I can get everything on here
Don't
for
you
free.
Even play with me. Look, fuck all them. Yes, I will fuck with you. I will fuck with Google and I will fuck with YouTube.
I do like
you know
Google though. I have
like,
everything else.
Fuck that Fire Stick that everybody be talking about. All that bullshit. No, y'all are pretending to not have fucking TV. I will pay for the goddamn internet in my wall. Okay, I will pay for the streaming from. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. This is what y'all need to start investing in. Century fucking Link if you live in an apartment complex built in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Because in the wall there is a box with internet already ready and there is a website you can get exactly what you want for 30 goddamn days or 31 goddamn days.
Mm-hmm.
Period, point blank. CenturyLink every month.
Right on
if you need to not pay that bill for a week and go without the internet on your phone or in your house for a week, then you can do that because they're not going to charge you or cut you off your service if you don't. They're not going to take away your service or none of that. It's going to be for your apartment. And when you renew it, it's going to go for 30 days exactly for that day. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody, a majority of us had Cricket service, and that's the way Cricket used to work. For real. You had 30, most you could get.
I think I did have
the most you could get was like 37 days with them.
I'm so grateful. I'm glad I graduated to Verizon.
I remember that though. Like the
not
most
having
you could
signal in my kitchen for no reason.
The most you could get was 37 days because they gave you the 7-day window. Yeah, they gave you a 7-day extension. We can extend it for 7 days for you, but that's as much as we could do. You was like, for real?
Yeah.
And that was the last time I used them. I don't know if they made it better or anything
I
like
haven't
that,
been back to them in a long time.
But that's what they made. That's what they had.
Now their signs are all like little blobby robot people. Who knows what's going on over there now?
You know what I mean? Aren't they owned by AT&T?
Who knows? Probably.
I don't know.
And now they're owned by T-Mobile, so...
Is T-Mobile owned by...
Oh, no, it's Sprint.
Yeah, Sprint's owned by T-Mobile. So, you know what I mean? Like, in general, we don't know what's going on. Although, we do know that you can also find your boy, Chris Lucas Diggins, on Chris Lucas Diggins at Facebook and Instagram. And then don't forget to go to our website, www.blackccent.com. That's www.blackccent.com. We will have that as our show. We would love for y'all to just go ahead and try to jump on in and jump on when you can. If not, just come on and stream the show. Thank you for joining us. As usual, y'all, have a great evening.
Peace.
Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream or drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the clouds. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain of life. Just listen to my story. You lost your best friend, shit's got you stressing. Wanna find a fool who didn't cock back your weapon. Don't wanna look to the church for confessions. If you kill him, you can end up in corrections. Some look for the needles and drugs for injection. When I lost Caesar, I was ready for the action. This shit hurts hard, and it really did. But you gotta let the pain go, and that's how you live. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the cloud. Feel the road is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain of life. Just listen to my stories. Falling in love may be easy to some of y'all, but some people in this world have downfalls. Been in love so many times, their heart got lockjaw. Mention the word love, pause, and the tears start to crawl down their face fast like Niagara Falls. Feeling you had them messed up like prank calls. Why it gotta be so damn hard trying to find the right one? Set your standards high and get this like an M1. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the cloud. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain of life. Just listen to my story. Phone bill is due, rent and cars too. By the end of the month and you got no food. Mom at home first and dad can't go to work. That's only if you had a dad, imagine that hurt. 4 kids in one house, one mom and no spouse. Not enough room and family sleep on the couch. You don't know why and you looking for an answer. Just found out grandpa got cancer. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the cloud. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pains of life. Just listen to my stories. Just listen to my stories. Just listen to my story. Lay your head on your pillow and close your eyes if it's mellow. Daydream and drift away, what you thinking about? All the thoughts bottled up and you ain't trying to conceal them. Break out, fly away, see your tears in the cloud. Feel like the world is on your shoulders and your heart is real heavy. You wanna let it out, but you don't know if you ready. The death of a friend, falling in love, the pain in life. Just listen to my stories. Just listen to my story.